Well, this is Baruch here. We're going back to the Sefer ERICH APAYIM, which I really wanted to look at some time back, but a lot of water flowed out of that bridge, and here we are back again. A basic fact that Americans need to understand because of the way that the capitalist society works here is that the world is full of struggle, and in fact it's full of all kinds of pain. And the question is exactly how do we keep ourselves from falling into, as I say, a deep depression, because we think that we have it coming to us and we don't get it easily, that we see wealth all around us and all different kinds of money in every place that we work, what we look at, the taiva for money and so on and so forth is powerful. Over here he says it doesn't always work easily for anybody. And in fact, it takes a great deal of patience in order to be able to see your way. But the fundamental idea of patience, the foundation of patience, is the appreciation, the consciousness that Hashem is involved in your life, in every single place. So particularly over here, we're talking about Paranassa, and this is his book, ERICH APAYIM. He has several different cases in our lives that he goes through, where he wants to talk about our circumstances and how patience and faith in God will bring you to the highest possible places. So let me open this up, find a place. So Rav SCHICK continues on. We'll just read and translate as best I can. This is, as I said before, is an old book. Rav SCHICK used to publish books and books and books, and he bragged that he was deeply in debt from it, but he insisted on doing it anyway. And he did everything he possibly could to publicize the words of Rabbeinu HaKodesh, Rebbe NACHMAN. Okay, so here's the thing. The main thing is to seek only from Hashem Yisbarach. V'yisbol, and a person should bear, v'yamtin, and wait the Yeshuas Hashem, to the salvation that Hashem's going to bring. V'yivtach b'Hashem Yisbarach, and have faith in Hashem Yisbarach, ki b'vadai, lo yazvenu the gamre chas v'shalom. He will not completely and totally abandon you, God forbid. Why? Because he desires chesed, he wants to give. Chesed means giving. But tzaddik v'yasher, he is a tzaddik, he's completely righteous and straight. So what do? Fortify yourself as much as you possibly can with the midah of celebration and joy, the simcha. No matter what your circumstances would be, no matter how bad the business went, no matter how different kinds of problems you have. Because simcha has the ability to be able to broaden your consciousnness. Miyashvim as dato, settle down a person's thinking, makardanim as atzivuso, and also cool down his sadness. Don't let into your mind any kind of fears at all. So you'll believe this. What he needs for this day, he's going to have it. Because he who created the day, in other words, the whole universe, also created a path for every person to make a living. And he has a story which I'd like to tell, but it's not the place for it here right now. It's really the story of the Mashiach, where he says, so you find something you can do and put a few dollars in your pocket, then that everything is going to come from Hashem. And should do that opportunity. You get an opportunity, take it. Don't look into it. If it's good enough for you. And you make a profit, you gather some money to him, you immediately forget what's happened in the past, what you were worried about before, because you have a few dollars in the bank, and you should give them thanks to Hashem Yisbarach. He said, I'll call chesed chinam shenasimach, because all of with chesed chinam means the free chesed, no obligation. He just gave you something. Hayom hazeh, he gave you this day. And this is the idea. This is a big idea of Rebbe Nachman. person has to always be happy, happy, happy. And then when you take these little jobs or whatever you can get, then you're going to have money for your wife and for your children. And don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow at all. And so that's the story I wanted to talk about, which is really a story that Rebbe NACHMAN told about the Mashiach himself. How he took whatever it takes, he's person at the bottom. But at that bottom, he's able to find tremendous joy in every little thing, and he always is ever one day to the next. He finds some money here and finds a job there, and he finds another job at a different place, and all the things that the Sultan does to all mess him up, he remains in joy, even to the very end. So he says, it's a great story actually. You have to be always in joy. And don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow at all. Every day you go out. And the first opportunity that you get, the fun that appears before you, you kibble to take it miyad, immediately take it. And take it b'simcha suma. The idea is if you realize that it's a gift. And when a person finishes what he's doing, the person will take the money that he got from that little job and he'll support himself. So he says it in Yiddish. I'm not so good at Yiddish. The Suda in Gevein als Asuda. So I'm not sure what that meant. And the person, if he makes a little bit of money, have a little time after that to be able to deal with this avodas Hashem, to learn a shtickle, maybe go to shul. The person would live a life of goodness, v'ne'im, and sweetness, called yemechayim. That's what joy can do. That's what not worrying about tomorrow, but being in the hands of Hashem. Every day there was another thing. He took something. One time he fixed broken tools. Pam nikath refus, he cleaned out garbage, or let's call it refuse. Because pam esek acher, every day he had the Mashiach take something else. What's it? Who lo bilbil is atzbach klal, and he never allows himself to get confused about what's going to be tomorrow, what happened. Rak masha hizmin lo Hashem is bar, but he takes what Hashem prepares for him. Beyond zeh daika, zeh asach of appearance is atzmabah. That therefore the person is that this is the path by which a person starts getting Paranassa. And you have to know this. The main place where bitterness and pain comes to the people, bishvil Paranassa, and when the person that is regards of making a living, just like the thought that confuses a person, continuously confuses a person. Every time he's always thinking, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen? I got to look out. What will I do for a living now? What I'll be worrying about. So if I got something now, what about tomorrow? And that worry, because the more that a person thinks about it, and he multiplies the thinking and the fears that he had nishbach liban v'rucham, this is what really breaks a person's heart, breaks their spirit. So then the bitternesses and the difficulties only get worse. So this is the theme that he says a lot of times. The ideas that they're going to run away to some distant place. And what they're really doing is they're running away from themselves. God forbid. Okay, so what's the solution? Tzarech Leda. Sheikar ha'adam hu ha'machshava, that the root of a man is his thoughts. Of a makam she'adam choshev sham kol ha'adam, so in a place where a person is thinking about all other people, let me see what he means here. So the way that people are is you want to think about something good, think about something good. That's something tahor. Translate again. Im betuma tame. So if a person is thinking thoughts which are tame, that are impure, that are going the wrong direction, so he'll become tame. But he thinks about kedusha, he'll become tahor. The same idea when a person could be punishment or get mercy. If a person is always thinking he's going to be punished, then that din keeps coming back at him. But if a person is thinking he needs a rachmanis from Hashem Yisbarach, mercy will flow onto that person. Because everything goes after a person's thoughts. This is what David said, Gol al Hashem darkecha. Let me see this word, gol. Gol. Commit your way to Hashem, it says. Commit, gol. Gol al Hashem darkecha. Ubetachalov, and trust in Him. And he will bring out, and he will cause to shine like the day of your like the light of the tzedakah, and the justice, it will shine on you, all of this, like the noonday sun. Even though that I spoke to you and I blessed you, and everything that you're doing, so he says like that, now you see things work out. Don't start looking into the cause of this, how it actually came about. You're thinking maybe it was you. Understand this. There is no concept that poverty does not come from the kind of work you do. Also, you don't get wealthy because of the work that you do. But everything that comes to you comes only from Hashem Yisbarach. The rabbi said in the Gemara in Kedushin, Dav Tzadi Amar Aleph, so therefore you have to bring into your thought all the time, Rak amitas mitziyosi Yisbarach, only the truth, the ultimate truth of the God's reality. He, in fact, is a God a Father of mercy. And He will give me Paranassa in honor, an honorable Paranassa. But don't start looking into exactly who gave this to that, and that one this, and then it worked out from you. Don't start thinking like that. It comes only from one place, he says. The adakduki anios shekashim anios. So he says, let me see if I can understand this. He says, ki elu adakdukim, people who really start examining every aspect of how their success is working, or anything that they start getting deeply and investigating, him dakduki anios, they're actually going into the Dikdukim, the examinations, the investigation that poverty is based on, shekashim aniyos, which can be worse than just being poor, is looking into constantly thinking, why is this happening to me? And this kind of daigo, this kind of investigating, why is this going bad? Why is Hashem doing? I think it's really that phrase. Why is Hashem doing this to me? It removes that kind of thinking, refers the person from his own mind, and also from the thinking of Hashem. This goes on with an idea, like is said in other places, that there is really only one mind, but there are many, many bodies. And the bodies have control of a certain amount of that mind. So if a person starts getting involved, that he's using mind to worry and to all of the different things, and without face, and he's asking, why is Hashem doing this to me? So this causes a person to separate himself from the upper das, from the mind of Hashem. And this causes I think it should be his rachakus, distancing, or maybe it's dachakus, the feeling of being pressured, scared. V'hamarivas, and the bitterness that comes with it, overall, I'll call echad ve'echad, that happens to every single individual, that there are difficult times. What do you do? He says, what do you do? So stop thinking about that, he says. Now this goes a little bit with, if you listen to Rabbi Memran, where he's talking about controlling. You can, if you want, control your thoughts. But, situations are different. Some places where you could be very frightened about what's coming up ahead. V'lachshav rak mimenu yisbarach, and only think about Hashem yisbarach. V'yavakesh rak mimenu yisbarach sheyolichuhu b'derech ha'emes, that Hashem should send him in the way of truth. V'yitan lo Paranassa kol yom v'yomo, to bring his Paranassa, that this is what you pray for, that Hashem will bring you every day the Paranassa that you need for that day. V'lo yivavel etzatvacha b'yom lechaveru klal, don't start thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. Be happy with what you have today. V'yivrach al tocha Torah, then run away into the midst of the Torah. L'lmod shiurim kasidron. Now this is a whole idea that Rabbi NACHMAN has, to start at the beginning of a limud and go all the way through it. So he says, v'yivrach al tocha Torah, to run away into the midst of the Torah. And he says, how do you do this? No matter what you're doing. Lil mod shiurim kasidron, start and get shiurim, get a shiurim in Mishnah, get a shiurim, and then another is amount of learning every day. B'cheshek b'kol yom mechadash, every single day start new and try to get into something different. V'yidei yushbach below kol minich hashpos, when you do this, and you try to make this sidurim, and you got to try to keep your sidurim by keeping in touch with Hashem through the Torah. When you do that, all kinds of different blessings are going to come onto you. The Rebbe said, this is a medrash, and the medrash Tanchuma. He said, Birchas Hashem, hi ta'asher, zu birchas Moshe, shnis asher b'haluchos. So he says, Birchas Hashem, that the blessings of Hashem, that's what makes a person rich. Zu birchas Moshe, this is the bracha of Moshe. How is it that Moshe, who was working on the luchos, the tablets of testimony, he made them out of sapphire, and he had the result of that, that he became wealthy from them. In other words, the wealth came out of the Torah. Mikan ata lamed, shakala osa b'Torah, Paranassa Torah, said a person who makes Torah a root in his life, his Paranassa will flow out of that Torah. Misasher, and the person will become wealthy, umatzliach, and successful. Shekain amali Yeshua, because this is what was said to Yeshua, to Joshua. Ki oz tatzliach as darkecho, so that you will see that there will be success on the path that you take. V'lo Yosef etzevima, and you will not see any depression added onto you. Shelo nitztayer leilech the makom acher, that you shouldn't become bothered by having to go to another place. Elamato ocholo, but in his own place, in his own home. Zimin lo HaKodesh Baruch Hu, Hashem had prepared that for him. Ein Sham. So try to put all those ideas together and think about finding Hashem, staying in His Torah. He says the root of being able to salvage yourself is by putting together shiurim. That means different sidurim. He means learning a little of this, a little of that, but on a regular basis from the beginning and continuing on with faith. Spending your time in that, and you will see that through that, your Paranassa will be greatly elevated. This is Baruch Flashman, Tikkun Elevator Kola.